Hi everybody, great to be with you again down here in the shed, surrounded by all the treasures that we have found together over the years. You may notice the absence of my young friend, as Mankey has decided he's not going to join me here today. In fact, he's set off for somewhere a little bit warmer because he thinks that the Welsh winter weather is just not suitable for a panda, and he's decided he'd like to have a bit of warmth. Well, I'm warm enough because I've wrapped up warm to come and join you. And I want to share with you some of our adventures, some of our finds, because as you can see, we have so many. But there are those occasions when finding something, the joy of it and the excitement can be doubled. And the reason for that, as I will show you now, is because we find more than one. We've made it. We're up on the top of a bottle de gazole, well away from the river, and there's stuff. In fact, I can see two foot warmers.
Already?
Where I'm standing, yeah. There's one just there.
All right, let's have a look. Oh, yep, there's one there.
Over there.
And there is the other foot warmer, which I'm not going to climb in and get, because I can see the knob is broken off the end of it. So let's have a look and see what is around here. Oops. Yes,
two foot warmers, bed warmers. Beautiful things to find, and on occasions we do bring them back. Here's one that we have here. This has a crack in it. That crack opened up even more since we brought it back home, but it's still pretty complete. You can see it's got its end stopper there, and it's got that bit of a decor to the top. So that one we have on display. But as I said in the video, just pop that back there a moment. Those bit heavy to carry. That particular dump is not easily accessible, and I've brought back some weighty stuff from there in my time, but we have to have a certain measure of sort of, that's too much. But there are other occasions when things are not so big and they come in pairs, because here is an example of two items very similar, but these, rather than big and bulky, were a pair that were petite and pretty.
As you wander along here, you can be forgiven for thinking, well, we're not going to find anything other than jam jars and wine bottles, and nothing terribly exciting. But you have to keep your eyes peeled, because I've just found another pile of bottles and I can see lots of writing. So this one says Cheeseborough Man FC Company, Co-CD, New York. Oh, I love that. It's got, is that a crack? No, it's not. Oh, I'm going to put that in my pile. And there's also this really interesting, almost like a rocket shape. I would say this aftershave or something, or eau de toilette, because it doesn't come out very quickly, and that would look lovely on a dressing table, wouldn't it? It's so pretty. I think my arms are shrinking. I just can't seem to get the bottles far enough away from the camera today. Let's have a look what else we got here. More of the usual. Oh, it's still got writing on it. It has. Clean that off. That says Velt Cream. Oh, another nice bottle that we haven't got. Right, I'm putting that on my pile. I'm glad I didn't pick up too much on the way down, because now I'm finding loads. Is this, which I think is the inside of a thermos flask. A very old thermos flask. That's what I think it is. As you can hear in the distance, they're still on the phone. But that's okay, because I get to find all the good fun stuff. And there's this bottle. Now this has got a little crack there, and it says not to be taken. So everybody guess what you think was in there, and I think you've probably got it right. What a pretty poison bottle. I've never seen such a pretty poison bottle. I'm going to put that in our pile there, which is growing, because I don't think I can resist it. Now this is the problem with being tall. When I grew up in school, I always wanted to be taller.
Hello.
It worked perfectly for me. because poor old Phil is really having a hard time. His hat is never straight, it's always wonky when we're out under trees. Hello, you made it!
I have made it, I have. Have you found bottles?
I have, I got some very naughty bottles, so you're going to have to decide what can come with me because I got too many. Definitely too many. Do you want to see my poison bottle?
Yes, and then I'll show you my poison bottle.
Oh, right. This is mine. Look at that, I love this, almost like a quilted look on there. Not to be taken, it's just got a little bit of a ding on the top.
Oh, good.
What's yours like?
Because...
yours has got a bigger ding, has it?
No, for a moment I thought I had the prettiest poison bottle, but then you brought that one. But you've got a ding on the top,
yes.
And mine is whole.
Oh, wow, look, you've got little knobbly bits on yours, and it says not to be taken. But the size, oh, they are going to make a lovely pair on a shelf.
I don't recall seeing the pretty shaped with patterns.
I've never seen those.
So there we go.
Oh, I'm pleased with those.
Now, weren't they beautiful? Absolutely stunning pair of jars, and what I lost on size, I gained on it being not chipped, and Caroline's was. But two lovely vases there. Of course, something that we love to find, and it took us forever to find our first one, but when we did, we were over the moon, and we have found so many since, are pipe bowls. And very often we may just pick up the one, sometimes we pick up quite a few, and then there's times when we'll come across a pair. And on this particular occasion, we came across a pair of pipe bowls. But one of the disadvantages, I suppose, of pipe bowls being so small and light is they are breakable, so you best not tread on them, but also they can be difficult to see. You have a look at this example now from a trip up north when we almost missed a couple of pipe bowls.
It would be nice if at this point I could say, oh look, there it is, there's that thing I've been looking for forever. What?
What were you trading?
Oh, Phil just said, what were you trading? Look. Well, lucky I didn't give up. Wow. Take that pipe bowl. Oh, it's got a bit of a chip on it, but wow. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, well spotted, Phil. If you'd seen that, it would have been history.
Well, I turned back and I genuinely thought Caroline was coming to get this. I thought she'd spotted it.
No.
And then I thought, she's walking straight past and her foot is about 9 inches away.
It's a pipe bowl and it's an old one. It's a piece of metal welded onto it there. But it's definitely an older one because of the size. Very nice. Oh, you know how happy I get when I find a pipe bowl. Even though there's nothing written on it, it's still a pipe bowl, so I'm happy.
And it does prove one thing, dear.
What's that?
You've got sharper eyes than me, because I just walked through there and I didn't see it.
And you didn't tread on it, so that's positive.
Indeed. Yes, that was a close shave. Almost. Caroline was just so near to stepping out, and that's happened to us more than once. I remember one of the best pipes we've ever found was on a canal, a disused canal basin near here over in Crumlin, and it was an absolute gem. It had the insignia of the Irish regiment on it, and it was a complete pipe. It was about this long, and it was an absolute joy. I never expected to find something that pristine and that gorgeous in that location. But it was autumn, the leaves were down, and I almost trod on it. Caroline was the one to stop me. She just shouted, "Stop!" And I thought there was a snake or something because of the panic in her voice. And my foot was about to tread on a leaf, and because Caroline was down below me, she could see there was something under there. And that was an absolute wonderful find. Can't show it to you today because we got to share that with one of our great friends who sadly is no longer with us, but we sent it as a gift when they weren't very well and we just wanted to cheer them up, so we made that a present to them, because sometimes giving something precious away just adds to its value and adds to the joy. But there are an occasion when Caroline didn't find two pipe bowls at the same time, but found the same pipe bowl twice on the same location. Let's see if you remember this.
I have been very sad. I put my pipe bowl down somewhere. It's the colour of leaves and I can't find it. And then Phil went to do some filming right down there and I was looking and looking, and then I wandered along and look, there it is again. So I found it twice, unless it's a different one. I don't think so. Has it got a wheat sheaf on it? Yep, that's my pipe bowl. Oh, I'm so glad I found it.
I'm glad you found it too, dear, because I would say that is find of the day.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, every season brings its joys and it brings its troubles. And in the winter, sometimes the ground is too hard for us to get the finds out. So you've had occasions where they've just been stuck in the ground with the frost. On other occasions, in the summer, it can be so hot we can hardly manage to take the trek to get to where we want to go. And it varies. But of course, autumn, the one thing that can be a pain in autumn is all the leaves. Because whilst they look pretty falling off the trees, they can hide treasures. And on that occasion, Caroline having a pipe bowl that just happened to be quite a rare one, in as much as its colouring was terracotta, which was the same colour as all the leaves on the ground. That was so fortunate that she found it again. But find it she did, which was good news. Of course, the other thing that we collect and love to find, as well as our pipe bowls, is our bricks. Or should I say my bricks, because I think that's more my thing than Caroline's by a long chalk. And they are by no means small, and they are not light, and they're not easy to carry. But as you've seen in the past, there have been times when I've lugged half a dozen back up a bank in from a river because I just can't leave them there. But then there's those other occasions when maybe it's not the quantity, but it's just finding that keeper because of where it is and what it is. And there's an example of that with regards to my brick collection. How many of you remember this little trip into Anisdi? Here in what seems the heart of the woodlands, which it is today, there are those reminders, just like this beautiful stone wall behind me, where the trees are growing out from the top, taking their grip on the things that the men built. Reminders of a bygone day, a time when this area would have been alive with the sound of industry. Now today we've got the sounds of the loggers as they're clearing the forest, but back then, 100 years ago, it would have been the coal mine and the brickworks. And of course, for me, it's the bricks that I'm looking for today, because we've heard that when the bricks weren't good enough for use in the industry, they found themselves dumped along the embankments here. Now there's been 100 years of undergrowth, but I'm sure we'll find one or two that I can take home for my collection. In fact, if I look just down in this stream to the side of me, alongside this wall, I'm sure you can see a few down there now. And I'm going to go and check if any of those have any names of interest. Well folks, I'm off to a good start, because right here, first brick I've turned over in the stream. Let me show you. There we go. There's the dog bone. And if I just clean it off, exactly what I was hoping to pick up. That's the brickworks we're talking about. Anisdi Brick Company, Anisdi. And as you can see on the edge of this brick, that's why it found its way here. It was thrown out because it's been damaged in the kiln. Something marked it before it was set, so that brick wasn't fit for purpose, but it's certainly fit for my collection. So that's going home with me. Now, one of the things that returned into that little trip there, and going down into the stream and seeing the trees growing up out of the tops of the man-made structures and all the rest, one of the things that reminds me of is that always in all of our adventures, in all of our searches and with all of our finds, something we have been careful never to lose and to try and share with all of you is the absolute joy of the natural surroundings. that nature just surpasses everything that we as human beings are able to do. We think we're clever, and we are, and we achieve some things which are incredible. But surrounding all of those things that we make, there is the simple beauty of the world in which we live. And we need to appreciate that beauty. We need to hold on to the joy it gives us, because they say that to be out in nature, the sound of birds singing, the sight of water flowing, and to be surrounded with greenery, they say it is actually a healing force for us as human beings. It creates within us that sense of well-being that can help us to fight off other things. So there is a power in nature, and we have really appreciated that as we've got out and about. And as a tribute to that, in the middle of all these wonderful finds, just want to share this little piece with you of that wonderful wood that we visited. And it wasn't as cold as today because we were there in the springtime. Wasn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And of course, as you all know, we have our own little paradise here at HQ. We've got a lovely little garden at the back of our place, and during the COVID pandemic, it gave us time where we were locked in here for weeks on end, and I managed to get to grips with the garden. We have less time these days, and it's harder to keep on top of things, but we were able to do a fair bit. And the beauty is that sometimes we can bring things from our mudlarking and bring them back into the garden, you know. So one example of that was that amazing copper trough that we found. Absolutely stunning. And to see the handles with the lions' heads on each side, beautiful piece, probably washed into the river from a flood upstream and washed out of someone's garden or something and come down and caught in the trees as it travelled along. You know, there we had it. But another thing, of course, going back to the brick, the NSD brick and all the bricks that we found over time, they lend themselves beautifully to being a part of the garden, you know, a feature. Whether it's edging a pathway or actually creating a pathway, which I've done here with the names facing up, so I can see the names Tredegar, NSD, and all of the others, Bristol, and all of Ebervale, and the different colours, and putting them together and making something that brings memories of those finds and makes them a practical thing in the garden itself. And that is something which is a real joy. But probably one of the largest finds I've brought home to use in the garden was from those times when we did the renovations, when actually we weren't doing any mudlarking, we weren't allowed, we were confined here, and we're going back to the early days of the COVID pandemic. We're going back to before this shed was here. Now it's amazing to think that this shed just 5 years or so ago didn't exist. We did a video of the building of the shed, but at that point you'll notice in this video, and I show you this find, that we were very different to today. The shed was tiny, and I wouldn't have been sat in it filming with you. It was just to contain the garden bits and pieces. But now I have this wonderful place to come to. So I'm going to share this with you now. It's a very natural piece that we found rather than man-made, that then I was able to utilize in order to create beauty in the garden. How many of you remember this little bit of craft time? Now I'm sure a lot of you will recognise this rather large chunk of what a lot of people refer to as an ivy skeleton. Ivy skeleton, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Obviously this large piece of ivy was wrapped around some tree many years ago, and we found it lying on the ground when we were on our walk along the river, Mudlarking, and now we're going to make use of it in the garden. Well, I've got a bit to carry today, so I did find my stick. I'm going to take the latch that we found home, but also this.
Very nice.
Not the work of human hands, the pure work of nature. I'd say that's a piece of very stout ivy.
Yep.
That's come away from the tree, but I think that'll look lovely in the garden. Caroline has a very specific point at which I must place this, because she wants it to obscure the greenhouse when you look down from this part of the garden. The first issue we've got is height. When this is on the ground, it's a fairly good height. I'm 6 foot, so we're probably looking at a 5 foot. If we sink it into the ground, we're going to lose some of that height. Also, this is extremely fragile. It looks big and chunky, but it's extremely dry and it's been in the weather and worn. So my plan is to put a piece of wood into the ground and then attach this to it. So I'm going to go off now, get a piece of wood on my wood pile, do a little bit of sawing and drilling, and I'll be back and you can see this installation go into place, and then Caroline can show you what she plans to do with it. In an attempt to ease its passage through the ground, just in case we bump into any small stones on the way down, and keep it tight to the wall, just cut a little chamfer on there, and now I'll put it up that way with the chamfer facing away from the wall, and it should guide it down the wall. That's the theory. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we've got this length of wood now. Half of the wood is in the ground, half is above. It's a good 2 foot above the ground, which should give some stability to that when we fix it on. I've got a couple of screws here for a good length and a nice sharp deep thread on them, so I'm hoping it's going to hold the job together. We'll find out. Time to put it together now. Now, Caroline's choice of place for this is practical, it makes sense, but it is a bit of a problem, because as you'll remember, I made this lovely bed for her marrow during the gardening show, and now I have to work from here and I have to try and put screws in over there.
Oh, see it as a challenge.
It's a challenge, right, there we go. Let's see if I can get my leg onto that wall, shall we?
Ooh.
It's rather peculiar as well. You see the head on those?
Yeah.
Usually I deal with either straight or Phillips, but have to use a special spline end for this, which is exactly the same as on my car, strangely enough.
Well, you look very elegant there.
Thank you, dear, thank you.
And this is the reason why I wanted that piece of wood in that particular spot. It's because when I'm sitting here, I can see the greenhouse, but I don't see the shelving at the back with all the bits of pots and things like that. So it doesn't look quite so scruffy. That's my thinking. Wow, look at that. I have my own obelisk. All natural. And I had to make no effort to grow it. We just found it on the riverbank.
As if it growed there.
It is.
And what is going to grow there, dear? Because I can see we got plants in there. Are they what going to grow around it, or?
No, I'm going to pop some sweet peas in.
Oh, lovely. They'll smell nice too.
They will. In amongst the other plants that are slowly starting to get a grip, I put these couple of sweet peas. As you can see, I've had a little helper. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks they'll grow up, and I'll get an obelisk covered in beautiful sweet peas. And now, let's go back and sit down, see what it looks like. There we go, on my swinging hammock and looking down, and that is going to be covering all the pots and things on the shelf, which is the ugly bit of the greenhouse. Job well done.
Thank you, dear.
Well, I think that certainly looked the part. And as you could tell on that video, that was filmed in the nicer weather, because it's not like that today. It's cold, wet and windy here, but as I say, I'm wrapped up nice and warm, so I'm alright. But we have time for just one more memory to share with you, because as I say, sometimes it's not about the quantity that you find, but it's just the joy of that individual piece. And I suppose nothing can be better than that first find. The first time that we found one of these that was in a fit state to bring home rather than smash to pieces. The first time we picked up a pipe bowl, and then to find our first one with something written on it. That was a wonderful and exciting time. And very often it's the joy of sharing those times with friends, because when we picked up our very first pipe bowl, we were with Tom up in Yorkshire, and what a lovely guy. And we've had some great times with so many people. And it's the finding the pieces and then seeing them again brings back those memories as well. But here's a memory, here's a find that was special because it was a first. So I'm going to finish with this now. Please join us tomorrow, 9 o'clock. That's Saturday, 9 o'clock UK time for the live show. Be brilliant to see you there. I'm sure we'll have a bit of fun and a chat and a bit of a quiz. And I hope Manky will be back with me then, because it's warmer in the office than it is down the shed. But it'd be great to see if you can join me there at the live show. But until then, let's end up with that first ever cod bottle.
Are you in a hole?
I'm in a hole, but I'm in a happy hole.
Why is that?
See my hole?
Yes, it's
Hello everybody, I'm in a hole.
very deep.
In a very happy hole. First of all, I will show you my bit of tile.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I'm going to make Mr. Adam Gates, the anchor man, very jealous.
Oh, look, it's a Wright Brothers Skipton bottle with an anchor and a stopper with the anchor on the top too.
Now, there's a little story to this. I sent Adam a little award recently because he is such a trooper. He's always first in on the live show, 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Mainly always. He's usually there by 5, but he don't start till 9 UK time. He's also really good at the quiz, a bright lad, so I sent him a little trophy, and I decided to give him my bottle from this dump last time, which was chopped off at the neck. Now it just goes to show, folks, be generous, because if you give things away, ooh, karma brings them back with stoppers on.
Very nice.
But that's not all.
Oh, what else have you got?
That's not all. Folks, this is the end of the show. It's got to be. It can't get no better than this.
Oh, a cod bottle with a marble.
I've got a cod bottle with a marble.
Sharp and Co. Keithley with a marble. Look at that. It's got a few chips, but that's not a problem.
No,
see,
not
see
at
the
all.
marble.
It's not
definitely
a problem.
in there.
Yeah, it's definitely in there.
Well
so
done.
here it is, folks. My first find of a cod bottle with a marble in. I'm chuffed. Hope you've enjoyed being with us. If you have, please give us the thumbs up.
Doing, doing, doing.
And if you want to share the love with everyone else and the joy of finding a cod bottle with a marble in, please share it with all your friends. But most importantly, just like I'm going to, until the next time, have fun. Bye.
Bye.